Good morning from out of the forge. It's a little smoky in here. I've had to take part of the hood off of my coal forge and put it over my gas forge because I've got a leak in the roof and it's raining. You might have seen that gas forge a couple videos ago. When I started, I did a part one on starting to put it together. Never did another one, never finished out the build on that thing as far as the videos go because the YouTube algorithm apparently doesn't like it when I do anything besides forged blades. I end up getting low view numbers on that. I'm sure that it's probably because YouTube doesn't push it like it does normal videos. But nonetheless, you know what? I'm sure you folks get bored with watching me hammer out the same blades the same way every cotton picking video. So once in a while we have to do something a little different. I'm gonna make a blade today, but I don't know what the next video is gonna do. Maybe a blade, maybe not, because like I said, let's try and not be boring. Blacksmithing is about moving steel. It's not just about making a knife, making a tool, making a chisel, making a punch, making a fuller. It's not about making door handles or hardware or hinges. It's about moving steel. So we're going to try to focus a little more on the moving steel. Okay, I'm going to try to use something that's not just a regular old billet shape, or if it is, it's something we've got to reshape before we can make our blade. You'll have to pardon the smoke. So today I've got a small piece of high carbon steel. This was a cutoff from a project I did months ago. Been doing a little bit of a minor cleanup around here. Found this laying in the scrap pile. This is high carbon. This is just a piece of regular mild steel that I'd welded on as a handle. We got about 3.5 inches there by about half an inch, or by about 1.5 inches, I'm sorry. We're gonna try and reshape this to make a longer blade. It's not gonna be a big blade, but a little longer blade, and see what we can come up with just messing around today. I'm gonna use the power hammer for part of it. Doesn't mean you couldn't do it on, you can do anything I'm gonna do on a power hammer on the anvil if you don't have a power hammer. But I've got it, it's a little faster, so that's what I'm gonna do. Anyway, stick around, let's get it hot, move some steel, and see what happens. Like I said, gonna start out on the power hammer and break this down into a more usable stock size. Forge it out, making it a little longer. And as we do that, of course, dropped it. As we do that, of course, that's hammering the steel into itself and thickening it, so I have to thin it back out. That hammer is really putting some vibration into the ground. Maybe I need to get some rubber mounts for the hammer. Anyway, so we started out with a 3.5 piece, about 3.5 inches long by 2 inches wide. And we're at about 6 inches or so now, I think, thereabouts. Give it a little more stretch. Make sure everything's evened up. Now we're going to use a piece of 4140 round stock for a fuller and forge in the finger well at the point where the blade and handle come together. That'll do. I'm going to use a hack and cut part way through, and then we'll just break our billet off from the handle and go to the anvil. The first thing to do is shape the handle a little more, stretch it out. I need to add some length to it, and I need to add a little contour to it. As I pull out along the edge of the anvil like that, I'm stretching it longer. and adding in taper. I want that distal taper from the handle blade transition back toward the hilt. That's actually coming out pretty good. It's really clean forging. I'm going to try to keep this knife blade as clean as I can so that when I'm done, I don't have to do very much grinding at all. That's the goal for today. Oh, about 7 inches, I do believe. So that's enough to start on the blade. We'll start by drawing out a point. Work 3 sides there and keep it the right thickness. Get the brush out and keep the scale off the blade. Helps keep the forging a little cleaner. And knock in a little backward curve. There we go. Now we can start forging in our bevels after we knock the scale off. Start at the very back and draw down the heel of the blade. It's looking pretty good. Now we can start stretching our bevels out toward the tip a little bit at a time. Brush on this thing. Work that bevel on out. Don't want to go too far. Almost made a mistake right there, but the blade edge is still thick enough I can take that out. Take that little bump out. Just even it up a little bit. And go back and dress that edge. Nice and thin, nice and clean. I am hammering the blade fairly cold because you can really see where your hammer marks are and work them out when the blade starts to cool down. And that really makes your forging a whole lot cleaner. Just with light planishing blows as the blade cools down, work those hammer marks out. Make sure everything's straight, even. Yeah. See how long we are now. Right at 8.5. I do believe that 8.5 is going to do just fine. All right, folks. Got done with that one. Got the heat treated. Ready for the temper anyway. And as you can see, I am really pleased with the way that blade came out. That was just a super clean forging. That's really not even going to need a grind at all. Just throw an edge on it and it's ready to go. What I didn't pay enough attention to, and well, I'm kind of ashamed of myself, is the fact that the finger well is not quite wide enough. I should have forged it a little wider. I mean, it fits good, but yeah, I could use a little more room in there. And I forgot to go back and hammer and round off the end of the handle. So that's still got that little bevel on it. So I'll have to do that on the grinder. But other than that, that blade is ready to pop a couple of holes in and get a handle made as soon as it's out of the temper. Anyway, thanks for watching. Let's move some steel in the next video too.